Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Hello.
Hopefully, the audio is okay. I don't know.
Um, Hold on.
I don't know if everything is working okay. Let me just check my mic really quickly. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay. All right, let's get started. Um, Hopefully, there are no technical difficulties. I think everything is working okay. But if things are not working properly, or if you cannot hear me, just let me know in the chat. Okay. All right. For the fitness section, what's the color of the background?
Blue.
All right, let's do that. And boom. Okay. And yeah, today there's a bunch of things that I kind of want to talk about. Generally, I think I've mentioned this before, but generally, um, most of the topics that I want to cover on stream are topics that I usually talk about in real life throughout the weeks. But I just like find those conversations interesting and then I write them down so that I can like talk about them when I do end up streaming. So one of the things that I was talking about, I think we were having this conversation before, was basically essentially the kind of like the biggest problem in the fitness industry, as you can see in the title, which is steroid use. Um, there's a little bit of history when it comes to that type of topic, but basically, like back in the day when fitness was kind of new in YouTube, um, a lot of people had an incentive to um, use drugs in order to enhance their performance in the gym and look much bigger than someone who didn't use drugs. And the reason is because obviously they would get more views, right, by having a more impressive physique, and also, yeah, by showing like more impressive things or like lifts in the gym. Um, so that was the problem. But because there is a sort of a negative stigma when it came to drugs, a lot of people lied about like how much like how many things they were taking in order to enhance their performance in the gym. And um, and so eventually, as the fitness community started growing a little bit more, people started calling these people out, saying, "Hey, you are taking steroids. Don't lie to people." Blah blah blah, and they would deny it. They would say, "No, I'm not taking steroids. Everything I do is like natural." Blah blah blah. Okay. Once the fitness industry kind of like became big enough where you had a lot of people who were knowledgeable enough about drugs, they started making videos about like natty or nots. That's why the Greg Doucette's started like growing, and a bunch of other channels who did natty or nots started growing because it attracted a lot of views, because now the viewers wanted to know like basically the truth behind the camera. They wanted to know if the fitness influencer that they were following, if whatever they were doing and whatever they were recommending was a realistic um, thing that they could do naturally. Um, yeah, so that happened. And then eventually it kind of like morphed, like the whole industry kind of morphed like into the type of content that you would see a lot of people being extremely transparent about steroids. So in the beginning, they were like kind of denying it all the time, saying that they were natural. Eventually, when there was more information and more knowledge about like the steroid use, um, then a lot of people like started becoming transparent. So they said like, oh, I take this, I take that drug and whatever, and I take this amount of like milligrams and so on and so forth. Um,
Yep.
yeah, and then it kind of became a trend where now you had a lot of YouTubers kind of um, who kind of like their whole content and their whole personality was basically um, talking about like how many drugs they take, and then they would say like, oh, but I'm just being transparent. So then another wave of like um, fitness influence fitness influencers came in, and then they started saying like, hey, maybe it's not the best idea to be like fully transparent, just because most of the people who watch fitness content online, they are probably going to be teenagers. And unfortunately, teenagers are really easy to influence. And so when you put that kind of information online, I guess there's a good conversation about like how responsible you are for the content that you put out there, and how responsible you are for the actions that your viewers, you know, uh, do or commit, based on the information that you put out there. Um, and so now there's like a battle, right? Where one side says, hey, it's better to be transparent and not lie about the things that you're taking. And on the other side, it's like, oh, maybe it's not a good idea to, not a good idea to expose this kind of like topic to people who are on the younger side. Not necessarily to lie about it, but just don't talk about it. Um, I think there's an interesting conversation to have there, because obviously, it's a tricky topic. I think. Um, I'm just curious about like what you think overall.
Okay, so I'll tell you my stance.
Okay, okay.
Um, Honestly, I prefer if people are transparent. Um, yeah, just because you can. I sound like the people who are transparent, but you can choose your own poison, honestly, right? I think it's better if, because I feel like a lot of the times we go into fitness like, yeah, we're gonna go for health and this, and I want to look. Oh, it's okay. It's not focusing. Oh, okay.
It's
So
good.
and then I want to look like super great, like this guy that I look up to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Turns out he's a fake natty, and you've been following him for 5 years. Oh, now I'm really frustrated. I'm frustrated because I got like I was lied to, and I don't have my dream physique. So now I'm gonna hope. You see, like
Yeah.
like I feel like it is true that this new wave, um, who are mostly TikTokers, uh, they're hopping on substances and they're becoming bigger and whatever. They're gonna regret it after. I feel like it's like this is like the first. If you need like an analogy, I would put it as like the first wave of cigarette or something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where people initially think, oh yeah, it's so good. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This I don't care. I don't care too much about the side effects. Um, and then something bad happens,
Yeah.
right? The difference between these performance enhancing drugs and cigars is that back then in the first wave, even doctors would tell you, "Oh, you're stressed. Take a cigar." It's a good thing, right? But if they tell you, "Hey, it's a bad thing," then you have no one to blame to. If you're
Mm-hmm.
fucking dying. Um, yeah, I think I think people need to be accountable, and then yeah, if it's a price you want to pay, then go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just and yeah, just people need me. Okay, this sounds so bad. People need to be
Oh no.
more. uh, People need to be critical thinkers. Like and this first wave, if they get influenced, okay, a lot of a lot of people's lives are gonna be ruined, but in a way, it'll be like an example, just like the people who got cancer from a cigar.
Right. Oh, okay, okay. So you're
You know
saying
what I
that
mean?
sometimes,
So
if there's a wave of people who actually negatively get impacted because of the transparency, maybe that serves as a lesson for future
and
like people.
but I think it's a bit different, and it's a lot better that they're transparent.
Yeah.
Unlike 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 back in the days where they would like spread like misinformation with
Right.
the cigars, say no, yeah, it's healthy. Oh, you're pregnant. Here you go. Here you go. You too stressed? Okay. Here you go. Like I
Yeah.
feel like that's like the current situation that we're in is way better,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean there's a lot of risks. That is true, but yeah, I mean
Yeah, I think that for me, my stance would be that I understand the concerns about, you know, being um, like platforming those kind of
Mm.
topics, and exposing those kind of topics to people who are teenagers or don't know what they're doing and are easily influenced. I understand that. Unfortunately, I think that the industry, like, it's a reality of the industry, and there has to be some like education and some transparency about it,
Mm-hmm.
um, because the people who are going to take steroids or who love the sport so much that they
They're
don't care
willing
about their health, they're willing to
to
like
pay the price.
sacrifice,
Yeah.
yeah, they're willing to pay the price, or and sacrifice a few years of their life in order to increase their performance in the gym. That's their decision to make.
Well, and basically do what they love the most.
Yeah, and I think that it is not a good thing to like expose this kind of like idea to a lot of people and a lot of like teenagers. But at the same time, there has to be some sort of like
So
transparency, because there can't like people who are gonna take it, they're gonna take it one way or another. They're gonna find a way one way or another. So it's better to have some sort of like educational information out there that they can like look for, instead of like kind of like blindly going in for it.
so what?
Now,
Uh huh.
the other thing that I want to mention is that, like, as a viewer, like, yes, the creator has a lot of responsibilities. I think the most responsibility, because they are the ones who are exposing like they have a lot of like power with their audience. I agree with that. However, I think that we cannot take away the agency from viewers. And, as a viewer, you have to make sure to be responsible for the content that you consume and also do your own research.
Especially now that you have Google and ChatGPT, you have so many things that you can use to just confirm pretty much anything. Like
Mm-hmm.
we've been blessed with Google for the past, like, I don't know, like 20 years
Yeah.
or so, and I feel like a lot of people don't even try to use it.
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, but yeah, I just want to clarify. When I say transparency, I don't mean like, oh yeah, I'm taking drugs, and then you're like, and let's say you're on the other team, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
you're like, no, we shouldn't take drugs, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh yeah, he's drinking. I don't care. like
Yeah.
like I think that the current position that we're in, where there's a lot of transparency, but there's also pushback. We're like currently we're in the best position we can possibly be, because I don't think the solution is to completely censor drugs and say no, or to say yeah, do whatever the fuck you want. No, I think you have to have a balance where, hey, these are the options. You can either, you know, look good, or let me rephrase that. Look better, because you can still look good naturally. Look better, but lose some years of your life, or you can just, keep doing what you like for longer, but you just won't reach that high, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, you need to be able to um, firstly know what you want, and then see if it's worth it for you or not.
Yeah.
So like, because um, you know you know what, these influencers that are against drugs, they're mostly against the promotion of drugs towards people that are not fully committed, like teenagers that are not they don't truly know what they want. They're not old enough to know pretty much anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, because when it comes to an athlete, let's say we're talking about Sebum, right? You're not gonna be concerned about that. You're like, oh yeah, no, it's a good thing that he took it, because I could see like the glory of bodybuilding or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, um,
Yeah. I think.
but these people are 1,000% committed,
Yeah.
and that they have a love for the sport, and yeah, I mean, for them it is worth it, and I'm happy for them.
Yeah, I think the main concern is like basically the irresponsible promotion of you know the steroid uses,
The
basically like the information about steroids. I think that like there is a way to do it responsibly, and just because some people do it irresponsibly doesn't mean that we should like toss out the whole process. um, so yeah, I think that as long as you're not the type of content creator whose entire channel and entire brand talks about like steroid use, okay, like at that point it's like, okay, like we're talking about an extreme now where you have like someone like, oh, today in the morning, they're doing a vlog and they'll be like, oh, today in the morning I took
it's
this type of drug, and then I took like 20 milligrams and injected this other thing. It's like, okay, bro.
yeah, but I think it's fine. It's not something that we should worry too much about.
Yeah.
Because here's how it works, right? Let's say I'm an extremist, right? And I like to do drugs heavily. Oof. And I become famous. This guy is gonna see me and he's like, he became famous for doing drugs? He's not gonna be the dude who is like, oh, then I'm also gonna do the same. Because then he's just gonna be my minion. No?
Right.
He needs to be my enemy. He's like, no. We shouldn't take drugs. Let's not take drugs. This is so bad. And then it's like a power dynamic, and then you also become rich and famous.
Right.
So we don't have to worry about that. Usually when these things happen, there's like an opposite,
Yeah.
The dark side.
Yeah.
And the
But like going back to like the initial thing that we were talking about is that unfortunately, like when it comes to the fitness industry, that like the sort of like steroid boogeyman is always gonna be like kind of in the background. Okay. Like yeah, that's always gonna be like the biggest problem. Like who's taking what and who died because of what, and like and then like who's lying about their usage and like all of that stuff.
I think for me, one of the things that frustrate me the most is when people lie. Michael Hearn.
Oh yeah,
bro,
yeah.
When
that
they
guy.
lie like to your face, bro, it's like, bro, just like, come on, bro.
Just own it, bro. Just own it. It's
own
okay.
It's okay. I'm not gonna judge you, but sometimes it's like the lie is too old, too big, to like.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. Also, like I'm sure that they have like a financial incentive to lie because they might be like sponsored by specific brands where you cannot mention like any of that. So yeah, but anyways, at the end of the day, you have to do your research. I think that you have to be responsible with the things that you put in your body, and just once you do your research, you're gonna have a much more educated perspective.
I think if you don't do research and then you blame the creator who recommended to you, I don't think that's the solution. I don't think that's the right reaction you should have. You should just be like, okay, I fucked up. I didn't do research. I'm so dumb.
Yeah.
And then move on. Find a solution.
Like on one hand, I can understand if you're a teenager, you don't even know how to do research, but like you have parents, you have mentors, you have teachers for a reason, right? Like just go ask them about it, okay?
You have Google.
You have Google. You have AI. Okay?
When you wonder, hey, how many teeth do I have? You went to Google. Why couldn't you ask for such an important decision in your life? All right. So there's no excuse. Maybe you can argue like, oh, school needs to reinforce this type of way of thinking, but they don't care.
Yeah.
just you have to be an individual that thinks for himself responsibly, and just be a clever individual.
Yeah.
Just
eventually, like I think most people who are involved in the fitness industry, they have a pretty good idea of like who's natural and who's not natural, and to be honest, it's kind of easy to know. Like you might have people on one extreme, like the Larry Wheels, the Chris Bumsteads, the I don't know who else is out there, okay, but like the super big people that like are like, okay, they're probably taking something, most likely taking something.
Oh, the Sam Suliks?
Yeah, exactly. Like people who are like massive, like there's no way that they could do this in like 5 years, okay? And then you have people like me who is like, okay, like you're kind of like in shape, but like obviously it's not, you
don't look like a movie star.
Exactly. It's like, okay, you're kind of in shape, but like that is achievable within the span of time that you've been training. And so Yeah. The difficult part though is for people who are kind of like in between or in the edge, right?
There are
Where
some
you
people that are like hyper responders, not to drugs, but to to the workout itself. You
yeah,
know?
to the training.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like they had the right genetics.
Yeah.
And they just boom. Or sometimes, um, you know, you just have the right information right before you start. No, but sounds more like an excuse. Sometimes you have the right information and you apply it, and you just, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if you have the trainer, like a trainer, you can achieve pretty good results like right away, like in a year or two. Yeah.
In my experience, like most people see results within the first 4 months or 3
Yeah.
to 4 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
No,
assuming
but
everything is
okay,
like
so
properly done.
I'll tell you like a story, right? Um, I got my dream physique within 3 months, but um, I had like I did like okay, so I started working out back in 2021, right?
Yeah.
And then my physique was alright. Like I liked it, but I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, that's my dream physique, right? Then I quit, and then I got back into it again.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then when I got back into it again,
Mm-hmm.
I got my dream physique within 3 months, right? Okay, that's the story. But when I tell other people that I got it in 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
they don't believe me. They think I'm like
Yeah.
I actually, right? But it's because I had all the experience from before. It's because I was a lot more committed. I knew how to train better. I knew how to eat better, and all of that, right?
Yeah.
And if you're wondering, like, oh yeah, no, well, that there's a lot of muscle memory. There is muscle memory, but you gotta keep in mind I was in that advanced when I first worked out, like the first time, round one, right? Number one, and number two, I lost all my gains. I became 170 pounds of pure fat, you know, and I had zero to no muscle.
Yeah.
I have pictures. It's disgusting. You don't want to see that, and I
Mm.
won't show you that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's bad. Well, it's not like like obese, but overweight.
Overweight for sure.
Overweight and no muscle.
Yeah.
So it makes the illusion.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think if you assuming that everything is like going well, so like your nutrition at some point, your sleep at some point, and you're training hard, and then you have someone that kind of like guides your workouts, I think generally you should be seeing a big difference, anywhere between 3 to 4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I was a lot more passionate. I was like consuming fitness.
Oh yeah, me too.
I was consuming fitness content all day, every day, trying to figure out. Oh no, just looking at my physique. Obviously, you gotta be realistic. Don't be unhealthy. Like
Don't take drugs.
No. Like yes, but no. Hold on. It's not the point I was trying to make, but I agree. Okay, so when you look at yourself in the mirror and you see an imperfection, yeah, you can try to fix it. Yeah, it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
But don't get overly obsessed to the point where you're like on a breakdown, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's whatever. You can't change it, you can't change it. Just move on, bro.
You know,
if anything, if you can't change it, just make money. You'll feel better.
you know the saying that I told you about, the one that I follow, which is like, change what you cannot accept, but accept what you cannot change. Like that,
Yeah.
that it's applicable here. We're like, if you have some genetics,
Okay.
some type of genetics that like, maybe a specific muscle group doesn't grow as much, and but then if you can't change it, then I mean you could, but okay, if you can't change it with like extreme measures, okay, then it's like
Yeah.
it's
I
okay.
feel like-
Just accept it. It's fine. Okay. Like at the end of the day, most people watching this stream and most people who want to get in shape, they don't want to go pro. So you don't have to like focus about that detail that much. It's not that important.
Yeah, but back to the point, I feel like you can compensate with other things. You can, you couldn't fix your rear delt. Maybe become smarter. Maybe make more money. Maybe Have you heard that saying when you're like, oh yeah, I'm 5'5", but on top of my money, I'm 6'7", like, shit like that, right? Stuff like that.
I've never heard of that, but that's funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Like you basically compensate whatever you're lacking with
Yeah.
other things,
just
other
like
achievements.
like self-improvement is what is it called? It's a spectrum. There's no right or wrong. Just you need to improve whatever you can improve. And also, you gotta think about. Well, actually, I had no point. I just wanted to go back to my original point.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, my original point was that, yeah, that during that period of time, I was very obsessed with fitness. I would look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, my arms are a little bit small. So now I'm gonna start looking up a lot of videos how to grow my arms and just kind of filtered them out based on the knowledge that I already knew and based on what felt better for me. You know, and that's how I got better at working out.
Yeah.
You know, by informing myself, try and error, and just pushing myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just being disciplined. Although I think that sometimes when you find, oh shit, this is controversial again. I'm a very controversial person. All right, I feel like, when I hear, for example, my friend who tells me like, yeah, I want to be like, I don't want to go to the gym, right? It's like I feel like shit, like whatever, and he tries to convince himself to go to the gym like so hard, and I'm like, dude, you don't have to convince, like. There's a level of fitness that you can reach where you're like, okay, I'm healthy, but I'm not like a gym rat. I don't have to dedicate my whole life to it, right?
Right.
There's a healthy balance, okay? Now, here's the thing. In his mind, he's like, no, I need to push myself hard to the point where I'm forcing myself because that builds discipline. And it's super like David Goggins' mentality, right? He's like, oh, yeah, I hate it. Yeah, it's not a bad thing, but it then, like, if you want to enjoy it, like, do you truly think that I go to work out because, no, I have to do it, I have to look good? No, I actually enjoy it. It's
Therapeutical?
yeah, therapeutical for me, right? It keeps me calm, right? Um, you know, and I think that a lot of the big guys agree. You know, we're not talking about the new wave that takes steroids all day, every day on TikTok and sells UMK. No, I'm not gonna say anything.
Don't say anything.
But you know who you are. But yeah, they will agree that they actually love the sport, that they actually love training, that they actually like going to the gym, that they get excited when they see big machines. Okay, that sounds bad, but like newer tech, newer machines. When they wear Young LA or Gymshark, they like it.
Yeah.
They're very passionate about it. That's my point. And I think that is him, instead of trying to force himself and trying to fit fitness into his schedule, try to be super disciplined. I feel like he should take his time, learn a little bit more about it, and see, do I really like this? If not, you can just do cardio. You can just do a sport. There's other alternatives.
Yeah.
You don't have to force yourself into the gym, because then you're gonna hate it. I started going.
It's gonna feel like a chore.
Exactly. I started going because I liked it. Because I liked that I didn't have to run everywhere. Or that the technique was pretty straightforward. Like, I can't play soccer anymore. I can't play soccer to a high level. The guys will smoke me. A little 15-year-old kid will smoke me, right? But I can do the gym where it's like me against me. Where I can hit my own PRs, where I can see the progress in the mirror, like, oh, it looks good. There's a bigger arm, Yeah, it's just like you choose your own poison.
Okay, I think we got sidetracked. Okay, let's go back to the original topic, which is the biggest problem in the fitness industry. Okay, the point that I was trying to make before we went on a tangent, was that
Dude, I'm like so not focused right now. I'm like tunnel vision. That's why I'm like
It's okay.
yapping.
Yeah, the point I was trying to make was that once again, the steroid boogeyman is always gonna be like in the shadows when we talk about fitness, okay? And
Yeah.
that's something that you have to be very careful and you have to look into, okay? Because you know, I don't think that type of information is necessary for most people because most people don't want to be like super big. Like, there's no reason why you would take it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that yeah, you just have to be careful about it. And once you become educated about it, or not even educated, just like a little bit more
Hello,
knowledge than
guys.
usual,
Mastermind.
then oh hey mastermind, um, yeah, like once you have enough knowledge about it, I think that you know, you will know who is lying. You will know um, who is probably taking and who's probably not taking. The difficult part is like people in the middle where you could make the case that they're taking or you could make the case that they're not taking. It just depends on different things. And yeah, that's I can understand for those content creators or for those like public figures who are
But
out there, and then like you're like, oh, is it really taking like the Will Tennysons and the Jesse James West and the Kino Bodies, like those type of guys. Yeah, so you know, yeah, just you know, just stay informed. Okay, you're responsible for the type of information that you consume, and then
I,
just keep that in mind.
I think that it's a good thing that it is transparent. Very, what is it called? There's a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
Because then you can be educated from day one. Oh no, steroids make me die quick.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't want to take.
You,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. But imagine if you are, you're working out for 5 years and then you plateau, and then you discover steroids. Imagine this is the early 2000s.
mm-hmm.
You discover steroids and you're like, oh my god, now I have leverage over my competition. Now I'm gonna be better than them. Now after 5 years, then I have other 5 years where I'm gonna
Yeah.
be Superman, and it's gonna be better than the first 5 years. Like, do you know how great that sounds? Sounds amazing. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Okay.
Don't do it.
Okay.
But I think it's easier to say no to that if from day one you're like, no, I don't want to take it because XYZ reason.
Yeah.
You know, you're more scared. You know, you're not desperate and you're making the right decision. And by you saying it out loud, you know, it might as well manifest.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next topic. Something that I wanted to mention super briefly. It's not necessarily a topic. Is I did mention like Will Tennyson a little while ago, but for those of you who don't know, Will Tennyson is probably one of the bigger like fitness influencers.
Yeah.
But he's not like fitness influencer as in like, oh, let me show you like all the exercises and like, you know, like in an educational way. He's not. He's more like he does a lot of entertaining videos, but with a fitness twist to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like a really big, literally, and like in terms of like his like channel, like his really big channel as well. And I think recently he was going through a prep for bodybuilding, but then I think he started his channel doing like challenges and like not food competition, but like
I think I saw something about donuts back in the day, or
Yeah.
something about like, yeah, eating 10,000 calories and burning.
I'm
it
burning
off.
it in one day or something like that, or like, you know, walking like however many thousands of steps in one
Yeah.
day, or like
Or visiting gyms.
yeah, or
Mm.
being like vegan for a week or some
Yeah.
stuff like that, like those kind of type of videos. And
Pretty fun
yeah,
to
he
watch.
yeah, it's pretty entertaining to watch, and it's interesting to see how like for him he was able to like kind of put his mind into it and just do a bodybuilding show, and he won first place. I don't think he announced it yet, but well, like not on his YouTube channel, but
Yeah.
if you go to his Instagram, I think you can see that he posted a story with a first place medal. Yeah, and then he did really well. It was a natural bodybuilding thing, so he's like technically considered a pro because he won a show. Wait, hold on. When I do quotation, I don't mean that he's not a pro. Like, you know, I'm saying it's great what he did. I'm just saying I just don't really understand like how things work. Like, do you win one show and you become pro? Like, you know, or
I
is
think
that
so. You get verified.
it that
and
simple?
you're like that. It's not
Okay.
simple.
No, no, no. It's not easy, but it's simple.
Hey.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
anyways, if Will Tennyson is watching this stream, which it'll never happen, but if it did, congratulations. Okay, it's super cool to see you succeed. But yeah, like I remember watching his videos where yeah, he would make like random. I think there was one that was super wholesome where like he just went to like homeless people and just bought them meals.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
I need to watch that.
that one's like super old though. I started watching him in the pandemic, so yeah, he's been in sort of like the fitness, like YouTube fitness for quite a while. So yeah, he's doing great. So that's really good for him.
Yeah.
Um, my challenge, mastermind, my challenge: jump as high as Miko,
Oh,
Miko.
Miko.
Oh,
Miko. It's a monkey.
oh, okay,
Just don't worry. It's Brawl Stars reference.
okay. I don't play Brawl Stars though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, one thing that I did want to mention. Um, I feel like I kind of want to highlight a little bit like the reason why I created this channel. I don't want people to think that like because I talk about lifting or because I talk about like fitness and stuff that I expect everyone to go and lift. Um, Lifting is just like a passion that I have, which is why I created this channel. But the main purpose of the channel is to encourage people to like be active and to exercise, not necessarily to go and do and lift. So like if you want to do a
Play
sport
badminton.
or like yeah play badminton or
tennis or volleyball or whatever you want.
yeah whatever you want, whatever active like thing, hobby, with
Yeah.
friends that you can do, just go ahead and do that as
Think-
long as you like are moving and as long as you're healthy. Like I don't want people to expect that like to think that I expect them to lift. That is not. It's just that for me that is my activity and I enjoy talking about it. But if you choose an activity and it happens to be lifting, then that's great. You can like tune into the channel and support me and my content. But if my
Yeah.
if my content kind of encourages you to like just be active, it doesn't have to be necessarily lifting. And then if you ask like people around me in my like involved in my personal life, you will see like I never really expect them to like actually go lift, right?
Like think of weightlifting as a tool we use to encourage being active.
Yeah.
Okay. Mastermind says it's a good it's a good habit to build discipline in general, and I agree with that. But I feel like the point that I was trying to make is, let's say you hate vegetables, but in a macro level, in terms of calories, okay, no. Okay, let's say you hate apples, and then in a macro level, in the calories and all the nutrients, they all match your goal, and you're like,
Yeah.
I want to eat apples, whatever, whatever. But then you really, really hate them, right? You're not gonna stick to that diet ever. So that's why I think you should be able to find other alternatives based on the information that you have and the current knowledge that you have. Try to find a better solution, and then you can just look at the macros and all the nutritional information, and you're like, okay, then I can replace it with, I don't know, rice, chicken, and I don't know. That's the point, right? That you don't necessarily, you will still be disciplined by sticking to something, but it doesn't have to be strict when it comes to like what specifically. Of course, there's gonna be scenarios where you're gonna, when you're gonna have to only have one option, and you have to be disciplined no matter what, of course. But because those scenarios exist, I think that you don't have to make it that strict when you don't have to, especially when you know you don't have to to achieve that goal. You're just making your life hell. You're eating apples every day, and then you have your everyday challenges. Like, no.
Yeah.
You shouldn't do that. There should be variety. There should be a balance, because look at David Goggins, bro. His knees are
Destroyed.
destroyed.
Yeah.
Like
That's actually a really good point because I feel like some people can't really find balance without like no. Some people go overboard
Or
without even realizing.
think about someone who only lifts, bro. Like only lifts and lifts all the time, and they don't care about recovery, bro. They're gonna die.
Yeah.
Or think about someone who only studies, and then watch them complain about, oh, my social skills, or you know, there's always a negative like effect if you take things to the extreme. Try taking too much vitamin C, you're gonna have diarrhea. Like
True.
there's so many, like vitamin C is great. You know, when I get sick, I take vitamin C. Like I spam that thing. But
When
I
you're
don't wanna
healthy.
I don't want to get into details. But you know, you might explode, right? So I think that's the point that I wanted to make. I have nothing against discipline. I like discipline, but I also think that um, you know, you can find a balance between discipline and the things that you like, and then get the most out of it, and then benefit from it and be happy from it. You know, instead of being a depressed robot. You're not ChatGPT.
Yeah, you know what? Something that I always say is, um, knowing how to no knowing when to stop yourself is
Yeah.
a form of discipline as well.
Yeah. Because
Because you know that stopping yourself is actually better for the future. But then if you still have the impulse to do whatever you want to do, because
you're
like for
being
the sake of discipline.
intellectually lazy at that point. You're very disciplined on the outside, but you're not thinking for your own future and for your
Well,
own
it feels like
benefit.
a contradiction where like you have the impulse to do something and then you're like, oh, okay, I gotta do it because of discipline. But if it's an impulse, is it really discipline? I feel like stopping yourself would be
It's
the discipline part.
yeah, like yeah, especially if it's counterproductive and it doesn't help to your goal. Then are you, first of all, are you even being intelligent about like the decisions that you're making? Second of all, are you even having discipline by having like by not having self control, right? So it's just like yeah, I mean, just find a balance and whatever works for you. That's why when I hear people like, oh yeah, this is what I do, da 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 da, and they explain me a reason why, and it works for them, good. I have nothing to say to that, right? It's a good thing that they have their own methods and it works for them. Might not work for me, might not work for him, but it worked for the person who told me that, you know. So yeah, just pick your.
Okay.
No.
Okay,
But
let's
yeah.
move on. Okay, let's
All
move
right,
on.
let's
All
move
right.
on.
I was having a conversation with a friend. This person is not super like, they know a decent, like a normal amount of like fitness knowledge, okay? Because like the regular person out there, the normie out there, okay, the people who are not obsessed like me, um, you know, they have a sort of like a preconceived notion about like fitness. So, for example, something that came up in conversation when we were talking was that stretching before working out is a good form of warm up. And I was like, hold up, let me interject. Okay, number one, it's not. Well, when we're talking about stretching
Well, it
specifically,
depends for your goal. Also, I think. No, actually, no, because there's too much injury.
yeah,
Risk.
like a lot of people might think that if you stretch before working out, it's actually like good for like injury prevention. But the reality is that especially if you were talking about weights and
Yeah,
lifting,
if you're talking about weightlifting, absolutely no.
Yeah.
But then if you're talking about like a sport, it's valid.
it would
Like
be sport specific. I think.
like if you're like tennis, you're
I don't know. It depends.
no,
I think
no, because you might lose power, but you have more flexibility.
I know, but I guess like I'm saying it would depend on the sport. Like I would assume like some sports are a little bit like you require a lot more strength
or
for those
or,
sports.
or when I used to do track, right? I used to. It was required for me to stretch. Now I don't know the science about it.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm not informed. But
Hey, but you're being transparent.
I am being transparent.
um,
But my intuition tells me that I'm not gonna snap a tendon by running full speed after stretching.
okay,
Right?
fair enough.
You know?
Yeah, but if we're talking about specifically lifting, do not stretch before working out.
Yeah.
Okay, you increase the likelihood of pulling a muscle of and decreasing your performance as well in the gym.
Yeah.
So the kind of like the next question would be like, okay, so how do you warm up? Generally, my suggestion would be to either perform the exercise that you're about to perform, but with lower weights, basically, and just to go through the motions, right? And you could also try dynamic stretching. Now you said like stretching, you don't shouldn't stretch. No, dynamic stretching is a little bit different. Okay, when we talk about stretching, we talk about static stretching. So the difference between dynamic and static stretching is that dynamic stretching is you kind of moving your limbs or your body through like longer range of motions in order to um, like basically warm up and accustom your body into what it's about to do.
Yeah.
But static stretching is like basically when you stretch and you hold the stretch for long periods of time. So anywhere between like 15 to 30 seconds. Um, so when I say don't stretch before working out, I'm saying don't static stretch. Okay, so don't hold a stretch for so long. But and for dynamic stretching, if it's not necessary for you, if you feel like you can properly warm up by just going through the motions of the exercise, then that's more than enough. You, I would say just dynamic stretch if you have a specific condition or you feel like
Discomfort.
yeah, discomfort and like going through the motions is not enough. That's what
Yeah.
I would say. Otherwise, if you feel good, you should be okay. But take things slow. Slowly get there. Okay. Especially the more advanced you are, the more important it is to warm up. Okay. Um, do you have anything to add?
No, I agree.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So that's what I wanted to talk about. The other thing that I wanted to touch on is, and then I think that we have this conversation all the time, but it's the idea of like feeling the muscle compared to exercise performance. Okay. So here's what happens. Okay. When someone's performing an exercise, you have, depending on the exercise, you might have two different feelings. The first one is, oh my god, I'm so fatigued, everything is heavy. Okay.
Hold on, before you keep going. Sorry. Read it out loud. It's too small for me.
Stretching is kind of important in my opinion. It kind of activates the muscles and the nervous system motor control, preparing the body for the main activity, similar to letting the car's engines run before driving.
Agree, but we did mention that dynamic stretching is the way, though.
Yeah, so it depends on like the type of stretching. I think that static stretching is probably not the best idea when it comes to like weightlifting. And I'm pretty sure if you look into like I remember when I was studying for the the certification for personal training, when you buy the books, that's like exactly what they tell you. That stretching is not necessarily a bad thing. It's good to like stretch your limbs and your body and your muscles. But it has to be dynamic stretching. It has to be like a lot of movement
Like-
and going through like extreme ranges of motion instead of like holding the stretch for a long time.
I feel like an example could be, if I crack my knuckles, I have less grip strength. I feel like, oh, refreshed. But then I'm gonna fucking, I can't hold the weight as well as
Yeah.
before, right? Or when you, when you're about to bench, right? If you start doing this, right? And you put stress on your muscle, you're stretching it, right? Your probability of snapping it is just so much higher, right? But instead, what you can do is what I do. For example, I do dynamic stretching in the form of having a band, and putting some what's it called, tension, and then go whoop,
Going back
whoop,
and forth. Yeah.
back and forth, right?
Yeah.
What that does is it warms up my rotator
Joints.
cuffs, my joints, the little very tiny muscles under my delts. Is it under? I think so, right? It's under, right?
It's just all around, I think.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, whatever. It will help you. um, but yeah, ever since I started doing
Yeah,
that,
come closer because you're going out of frame.
ever since I started doing that, my my shoulders doesn't hurt when I bench, for example, and I've been increasing my weight little by little, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, dynamic stretching, good for weightlifting
Before, as a warm up.
as a warm up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then if you really think about it, the slow progressive overload would be a form of dynamic stretching, no? Because you're going through the motion, uh, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like light.
Oh, okay, okay. You're,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
talking about like going through the motions.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
warming up. Okay, yes.
Yeah, like that type of warm up is a form of dynamic
Yeah,
stretching.
it is a form of dynamic stretching. That is
Yeah.
true. Yeah. You're applying a little bit of tension, but it's just a little bit like something that your body can handle for sure. And then by going through the range of motion, you're basically dynamically stretching because you're bringing your joints and your muscles to a full stretch, right?
You know what I've been thinking also, by the way?
Mm-hmm.
The thing that Dr. Mike said, that if you are always doing a movement and then you change it a little bit, your chances of getting hurt are so much higher. It is true. I've been seeing it like everywhere. And also when I'm benching, right? And then I do something that I don't usually do, bro. I see the light. I see the light. But
you see the gates to heaven.
yeah, they start opening. Boom.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah, but yeah, just be careful, okay? Especially when it comes to weights, tons of accidents. Some people even die from it, okay? So just be careful out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, take things slow. Okay, let's move on. So feeling the muscle against or versus the exercise performance. So that's something that we talk about. Generally, when you are lifting heavy, two type of feelings, okay? Number one is probably gonna be like everything feels heavy. I don't even know which muscle is doing the work, but I'm just like suffering. Okay, that's the first one. The second one is like there's a very specific feeling of a very specific muscle that is burning, right? And which one is, I guess, like more important when it comes to like if you want to grow your muscles, okay? Okay, this conversation is very, very nuanced, so bear with me, okay? Generally speaking, the most important thing, and I've said this way too many times before, is the most important thing is progressive overload. The improvement of performance over time. So, for example, last week I did 100 pounds for 10 reps. This week I do 110 pounds for 10 reps. That is progress. Chances are, because I progressed in my performance, my muscles are more capable and most likely bigger. Okay? Okay. Now, that is not to say that feeling the muscle or the quote unquote mind muscle connection is not valuable at all. It's just not something that you should obsess with.
I would say it's not a priority.
Exactly. It's not something that you should prioritize because it's not the foundational thing that builds muscle. Now, it is helpful. For example, it is sometimes when you do compound exercises that work multiple different muscles, it is difficult to gauge like which muscles are working more than others, like relative to others. But if you do feel the mind to muscle connection, then you do know which muscle exactly is working the weight. So that is something helpful to know and to have. So that's the first thing. The second thing is the enjoyment part. I think that a lot of people like feeling that their muscles their muscles are working, and they get a rush of endorphins after performing the exercise. In which case, if you find that feeling is enjoyable for you, and it allows you to do things for the long term, then that's really good. At the end of the day, going back to what I said in the very beginning, right? Like progressive overload, the improvement in performance is the most important, is the most foundational thing when it comes to growing muscle. But if feeling the muscle helps you stay consistent and helps you progressively overload over the
Yeah.
long term, that's perfect.
Yeah,
There's no problem with that.
yeah, that's the point that I wanted to touch upon. There's three things, right? There's the mind muscle connection, right? You know what's happening, and then that mind muscle connection makes you feel great. Like I'm like Arnold, yeah, the pump, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
love the pump, right?
Mm-hmm.
That pump will motivate you to go harder, you know, and then you'll probably lift a little bit more weight
Mm-hmm.
while knowing that you're working that muscle, and that over the long term will help you stay consistent.
Yep.
So it's like a domino effect.
Yes.
Now, I love the pump. True. But even when I love the pump, it doesn't mean I don't I like it doesn't mean I only do isolates. It doesn't mean
You emphasize on the pump.
I emphasize on the pump.
Yeah, the pump.
I give the last two exercises just for the pump. Okay? But in every gym session, I start with a compound. And, you know, I don't know what the hell I'm working, but I'm exhausted. I want to go to sleep. Yeah. But I know I'm getting stronger. Like, I'm getting stronger. I'm getting super, super tired. I don't know what I'm working.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's squats. I know what I'm working. I'm dying. My legs are about to fall off. I'm like a Lego, bro. But yeah, if I'm doing any other compound, like a pull up or a, what is it called? Or a bench, I feel more like my delts for the bench.
Mm-hmm.
And then for my back, I feel my arms. Yeah. But I know I can see it on my physique. I know I'm getting better at my chest, my back.
Yeah, like
it just doesn't feel great.
yeah, just because you don't
Right.
feel it doesn't mean it's not working.
Right. So I
Yeah.
think, again, with balance, I think you should do things that absolutely work, and then just have your scoop of ice cream at the end. Just do the isolates that make you feel good.
Yeah.
You can study 3 hours, and then the last 30 minutes you can play Brawl Stars.
Yeah.
If that helps you stay consistent, if that is a reasonable reward, like especially like let's say you like reading, okay? You read scientific articles all day. In the last hour you choose, hey, I'm gonna read a comic. You're still reading, you're still doing what you're supposed to do, but it's more enjoyable.
Right.
A science fiction comic. No, a scientific paper with images.
Okay. I guess that's
you guys
an
get
analogy.
the point. You guys
Yeah.
get the point.
But yeah, I think that I feel like you shouldn't be obsessing about feeling the muscle, it, uh, especially if you're trying to get results.
Yeah, you can't be reading the comic all day,
Yeah.
and then the last hour try to cram all the.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You should prioritize the foundational things, but if in the end you find it enjoyable to feel the muscle or to read the comic, then
Yeah,
you can add that as
and
well.
it'll help you the next day. You're like, oh, I can't wait till I read the comic, but first I need my 10 hours of scientific articles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to expand a little bit more on like progressive overload. Basically the idea of like size versus strength. So that's also like a kind of like a nuanced topic.
Which
but
one?
Size versus muscle. Size versus strength.
Oh, okay.
Wait. What have I said? Okay, hold on. Size versus strength. Yes. Yeah.
Dude, I don't even know where you are.
It's
I'm
okay.
gone, bro.
All right. Okay, so according to your knowledge,
Ah,
uh-huh,
yeah.
like like what do you think the relationship between size and
Okay,
strength is?
so I think that strength does play a big part to muscle growth. However, there are exceptions, especially when you take it to the extreme, right? Because on the way, like on your journey to try to gain the most strength, you optimize your form. You'll you'll you do you get stronger, but like okay, the faster it is, the less results you're gonna get. You need time to grow muscle in general. Okay, let's start with that, and then I do want to clarify also that in the long term, if you're strong, you will grow muscle. But okay, let me think about this. No, no, no. I'm like, what is it called? I'm tunnel vision as fuck.
Okay, okay, let me talk then.
Wait. I have a point. I have a point. Okay, think about this. If you work out for a very long time with a reasonable, decent weight, okay, right, and you do a lot of reps, right, you will grow muscle. You will grow muscle. But right, you will grow muscle with that because with a lot of reps and a lot of time. Okay, let's start with that. Okay, just because you're doing super 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 heavy, it doesn't mean that you'll reach it faster, right? You still need a lot of time, and then the results you'll be able to see it on the long term,
Yeah.
right? I also think that if you lift heavy, your muscle will have to adapt, and if you got stronger, then it most likely got bigger.
Yeah. So the way that you should think about the relationship between size and strength is that they are correlated, but the correlation is not one to one, right?
Yeah.
So the way that I think you should think about it is like strength is a skill, and when I
Yeah.
say it's a skill, is that I mean that you have to adapt your body so that it is capable of recruiting every single like muscle fiber in the most efficient way to lift the most amount of weight. Okay. When it comes to size, it has nothing to do with a skill, but more to do with the how like big your muscle fibers are, basically. And so the way that you should think about it is like when you lift, right? The way that these two variables, size and strength, kind of work with each other is the stronger you are, right? The bigger the stimulus that you give your muscles to grow. And the bigger you are, the more capable your muscle fibers are to recruit like force, basically to produce force, or I guess the more efficient your body is recruiting muscle fibers in order to produce force, right? And that's kind of like a cycle that reinforces each other, where yeah, like you will become stronger, therefore like bigger, therefore stronger, therefore bigger, and so on. So that's why when I talk about like progressive overload, I don't think you should worry too much about like how you look in the mirror or like whether your measurements are going up. As long as your performance is improving, you're getting stronger, everything else equal, you're getting stronger, then it's probably a good sign that you are gaining muscle. You are finding results.
I want to say something. Okay, I have the perfect analogy. Now you can correct me, but let me finish. Okay, so let's say
Uh-huh.
that working out in general is like going to your job.
Okay.
Okay, and then in order to grow muscle or earn money, okay, let's think about currency, right? You have to work. First of all, the two rules are show up every day and put in the work. Okay?
Okay.
Now, let's think about the strength part as a skill. And the more skilled you are, you know, I mean, no, if you're skilled, then you get the bonus, right?
Right.
So if you perform like super, super well at work, you get the bonus. Okay. Every day, let's do some math. Every day is $1, right? But then every single time you do the bonus, you do the like the hard work, the like you push yourself to the limit. It's 1 cent. Now, doing the bonus doesn't do anything, right?
Right.
Right? Like if you, we can all agree that the most important part is actually showing up and putting in the work, right?
Yeah.
Because if you don't show up, you can't put the bonus, right?
Right.
And then 1 day of bonus versus 1 day of no bonus,
Uh huh.
no difference,
Right.
right? But over the long term,
Uh
yes,
huh. It
yes,
adds up. It
yeah,
adds.
yes, difference, right?
Yes, difference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the
Okay.
analogy I want to make. Cook.
Okay. Let me slightly twist the
Yeah,
analogy.
yeah,
Okay?
just translate it to them.
Okay. So basically, what you're saying is like, if you were to say that, if you were to use an analogy where someone goes to work,
Uh-huh.
you need two, like basically two things happen. Okay. Number one is like showing up and doing your work.
Uh-huh.
And the other one is like actually like putting a lot of effort in order to get an additional bonus.
Yeah.
And then you're saying that the monetary compensation is going to be the muscle, and then the sort of like the skill is the strength.
Yeah.
And so if you try to connect that analogy with progressive overload, then I guess you're trying to say that like, if you put in like, if you try really hard and improve your skills, you will get a monetary compensation.
Yes.
Okay.
Like a bonus.
And then when you get the bonus, you're more incentivized to put even more effort because you want a higher bonus. So,
But it doesn't make a difference if you compare.
like
Like,
if you do it
one day-
for like 1 day,
Uh-huh.
like let's say you don't show up to work,
Or
that
even
1 day
7.
doesn't
Okay.
really do anything.
Even 7 days, because honestly, it's not linear. Okay. If you put a lot of effort, it's not linear.
Right.
It's never gonna be linear. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good thing to visualize, but think of every day your bonus gets smaller, but it does go up.
let's say your company, okay, only has a certain amount, but yeah, so then they give you less and less, and
Yeah.
you put more work.
Because
And more
you're
work.
you're getting too greedy. Okay, you're leaving other people with no food. No, it's hard. It's hard. Like I think on the surface level, this analogy is good.
But obviously, if you start picking into like,
Like
the details, then
the details is not good. It's not
yeah,
good. But I
it
think it's very
doesn't
hard
translate
because
one-to-one.
because bro, like many people on the fitness industry disagree with a lot of these things. Like it's not something like we know more about the brain. We say, oh yeah, the frontal lobe is about your decisions. Blah 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 blah. Blah. We know that. Right? We know that. Or your eyes are used to see. Yeah. I cover my eye. I don't see. Right. We know that, right? But about muscle, bro, there's too many variants, right? Oh, did you work the right way? Did your mind do something? Did you really push the hardest?
Do you compensate with other muscles?
Did you eat well? Did you sleep well? Technique, leverages, too many things. You can't. It's so hard to measure. And then you have like millions and millions of like experts telling you different things, and you're like, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
It's impossible. It's impossible. That's why.
I think that the solution to that would just be looking at a consensus. Like
Yeah.
most people agree on what, and then they can like verify each other's opinions. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is just use your own critical thinking to analyze what makes sense and what doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I cannot tell you that, I've read like a lot of papers about progressive overload and whether
But-
strength and size are correlated.
But you know what? Let me say this. But I think that the scientists and these experts, they know one thing. They know what works and what doesn't. They don't know to what degree. They don't know the monetary value of each thing. There's not a number. They cannot calculate for that because I think it's impossible.
yeah.
But they will tell you, yeah, progressive overload works. And then pushing hard also works.
Yeah.
To what degree? I don't know. But you can be greedy and you can try.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
You
a
know?
lot of it is gonna come down to like basically experimenting and then seeing how your body reacts to what you do to it. and then you go from there, and then see. Some people react with like a higher number of exercises. Some people react with like very minimalistic training. So
Yeah.
it just depends. And I think you should like it's good to be informed, but remember research and papers and studies and
Do
all of that stuff talk about a result that is an average of all the subjects that they're
true.
testing on, right? You could be the outlier who mega responds to that stimulus
or Mega doesn't respond.
exactly. So
But
yeah,
yeah, it's just like do your research, you know, and uh, and try it for yourself, and then see what works for you.
Yep.
Honestly, yeah, whatever works for you. After you do your research, that's the responsible thing to do, right? To like, you will make better decisions when you have more knowledge than when you
Yeah.
don't.
And speaking of muscles and scientific research, I think there's a Jeff Nipper video that I want to react to. We'll do it in 1.5 speed so that it doesn't take forever because it's a 30-minute. But it's an interesting video because this is a guy, okay, this is the biggest fitness YouTuber in the industry. And I think he's been lifting for so many years. Generally speaking, when you have been lifting for so long, you don't really expect a lot of gains anymore. Because there's something called like it's theoretical, but basically the natural limit where you can't get like bigger forever, otherwise you'll be the Hulk. So there is like some sort of like natural limit where your body basically limits yourself from like gaining more muscle because it's unnecessary. And someone like him who has been training for a long time,
I think ever since he was 13.
yeah, like you would think that they're
So
like
that's easily like 18 years or something.
yeah, like you would think that he's basically at his natty limit, but apparently he did a bunch of other things and try to optimize every single thing in order to see how much muscle he can gain given his experience. So I think that's an interesting video to watch and something that we can all learn because he cites a lot of studies. He's like the science guy. Okay, so I'm gonna put the video. Just give me 1 second. All right. Wait, you did it so that you can do it with his buttons, right?
Yeah.
Boom! Oh my god. Okay.
You like that?
Yeah. I can just wait.
Or the other one. Yeah.
Oh,
No, do one is one action and the other one is another action.
I know, but it's not going back.
What? Why is it not working? Oh yeah, it's not working. Wait.
No. Screen sharing.
Okay. Huh? Is it not work? Oh. No. Sorry. Well, it worked the first time.
It just worked. Anyways,
I don't
okay.
know what happened. Either could. What happened?
Oh.
What?
Wait.
It was working when I tested earlier. No, when you're in this, it doesn't work. Because that will send you back and forth.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So.
But I can set it up better for next time.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
For the next year, I'm going to train as perfectly as humanly possible. That means I'm going to run the most science-based, optimized plan and track every single set
25, bro. This shit
It's
is
too fast.
unwatchable, bro.
All right. Let's see.
of every workout. No skip workouts, no lazy sets, no exceptions. I'm also going to track every single calorie I eat every day for a year straight. And in this video, I'll show you my full results. To start the experiment, I'll get a DEXA scan to measure my body fat percentage and an ultrasound to measure my muscle size. Then, after a full...
Okay, so for those... Hold on.
This is a banger video.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's so good. The editing and everything is really good. And also the pacing. So one thing that you have to keep in mind, like if you want to learn about like your body fat percentage, the first thing you should know is that there's no accurate way to do it. But the most accurate way is probably the DEXA. There are some issues with that. But yeah, like if you ever want to know for sure, I don't think you should because it's so super expensive and there are other ways to like kind of estimate it.
How much is it?
Pretty sure it's like, from what I remember, it's like three figure, like two to 300, something like that.
4.
But yeah, anyways,
Full year of optimized training will measure exactly how much muscle I gained. But here's the best part. For any of you that are new to the gym, I'm going to also do the exact same experiment on my biological brother, who's a similar height as me, with a similar genetics, but here's the catch. He does not lift at all. He's a completely untrained beginner. This way, we'll get to see the difference between someone who's been training for over 15 years versus someone totally new to lifting. You see, you build most of your muscle in your first few years of lifting. Then it slows down. And there's a theory out there that once you've been training for 5 or maybe 10 years, you've built all the muscle you can build. People call this your natural ceiling for muscle.
Oh, okay. That's exactly what I was talking about. The natural limit or the natural ceiling is sort of like a theoretical idea where you basically cannot surpass. You cannot surpass. Hold on. Actually, it's better if I screen share. You cannot surpass like this line. It works. It works like for those of you who know math, like as an asymptote, where you kind of like approach that line, but you never like really touch it. You just keep approaching it. But yeah, that's the natural limit. So we'll see if he actually is able to like quote unquote break that natural limit.
Muscle growth. And for the last few years, I've been thinking that I've reached it. Despite training as hard as usual, I just haven't really seen any noticeable gains in the last few years. And once you hit your natural ceiling, you have a decision to make. You can either maintain what you've built, saying goodbye to any new gains, or you can take anabolic steroids.
I didn't want to mention it, but
Yeah, so I think this is one of I think this falls in the category of, you know, responsible information where like you're actually telling the truth. Like most people, once you get to the natural limit, what do you do, right? Like if you want to keep improving, there's only one route.
You gotta
to
lay
take.
out all the information, like all the options and
Yeah.
all the information.
Most people just maintain because obviously they want to like stay healthy, but you know, just keep in mind that like this option over here brings a lot of like health issues. So just keep that in mind.
I've definitely thought about using steroids, but I don't want to because the side effects scare me. I also don't want to.
Yeah,
I've
just
definitely
wait,
thought
hold
about
on.
using steroids, but I don't want to because the side effects scare me.
Just look at that. Just look at that. Heart attack, stroke, liver failure, kidney
Acne.
damage, cardiomyopathy, mental health, infertility, hair loss, gynecomastia. Oh, that's the
the
boob
titty
thing. Yeah. Acne. Like all of these things. Like, do you want to really risk it? Like, really? Ugh.
Me. I also don't want to just maintain if I can still make gains. As a bodybuilder, making gains is kind of the point, right? And besides, there's really no science on this so-called natural ceiling anyway. It might not even be a real thing.
Exactly.
So for me, this
That's
experiment
what
will
I
answer the
think.
question of whether or not I've reached my natural ceiling, or if I simply haven't been training as hard and...
I think that the natural limit
It's
is
theoretical.
It's theoretical
And it's observational. Like, it's based on, like, okay, obviously.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's a thing that we believe in currently based on the information that we have.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe in the future we'll have a different approach. Like maybe I'm too optimistic, okay?
Yeah.
But you know, the people who believed in the iPhone back when we used bricks, they were also optimistic. So.
Yeah. Okay.
smart as I could be.
Yeah,
For my
it
brother
is.
Brad, it'll show how much muscle a new lifter can gain in 1 year of dedicated training. Let's find out.
It's not just about saving time, it's about expanding what's possible.
Okay guys, it's day 1 of the experiment. We're here at McMaster University, and we're gonna get a whole bunch of tests done. Then we're gonna come back exactly 1 year from today and see how much muscle we built. Let's get started. To start, every good experiment needs a good hypothesis. And upon deeper reflection, I think I have not reached my natural ceiling for muscle growth. I think that if I really give it my all for a full year, I'll see some new growth. And to set the standard high, I'm gonna take an ambitious guess at how much muscle I'll gain this year. I'm gonna guess that I will gain
Oh my god, I wanted to guess. Okay.
I was gonna say 1.3 or something, or 1 pound.
I was gonna say like 3, but okay.
4 pounds.
3 pounds? Really?
Oh! He said 4 pounds.
I think Brad will.
He said 4 pounds.
That's crazy.
Okay.
Gain.
Oh.
Brad, someone who doesn't lift, is probably gonna be like
Like 3, 4,
no.
5.
With his genetics?
Wait.
No, him.
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
For 1 year? More than 5 pounds. He's probably gonna be like 15.
Like he has good genetics because Denver has good genetics.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's also what is it called? Then there's also newbie gains,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
Wait, I think we're too big. Well, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I can make it smaller.
There's newbie gains. I mean, okay. let me reach like a okay. Let me say like 6 pounds.
Nah, I think it's like 15, bro.
15, like that much?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, let's see.
Wait, we can do this
What? Huh? What are you doing?
so that like we can be big without covering this. Without covering the video. Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
No. Okay.
Double that, 8 or 9 pounds of muscle. I'm gonna say 9 pounds of muscle. What do you guys think? Is that ambitious?
Post-cut or-
Is that too much?
I think 4 pounds of muscle is quite a bit. I mean,
Do you know? No.
For him,
Yeah.
it might be undershooting
Okay.
a bit. For you, man, you know natural bodybuilding. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard, man.
Challenge accepted. So with my own research team as my biggest haters, we got our starting measurements done. 5'4",
0.7. So if you look at that,
Take that, internet. 5'2".
Yeah.
First up, we use this DEXA machine to measure our starting body fat percentage and lean mass.
So what did you predict you were at?
I think I said 14.6. It said that I was 15.8% body fat. That was a bit higher than I expected. I thought I'd be closer to 13 or 14%. But hey, maybe I'll get that down by the end. It also said I had 132.7 pounds of lean mass. Lean mass includes your muscle mass, but it also includes your organs and body water. After that, we got our muscle thickness measured using ultrasound. This device sends sound waves through your body that reflect back, creating echoes that can generate an image of how thick the muscle is. We did thickness measurements for our biceps and quads. Brad's starting body fat was 36.2%, also higher than both of us thought. Most people probably do think they're leaner than they actually are. We're also doing regular posing updates to assess our visual progress. So Brad and I made our own posing room to make sure we'll have the exact same lighting and angle for the before and the after. For our first workout of the experiment, we're doing an upper body session, and this is the split we'll be running all year. It's a mix between an upper-lower split and a push-pull leg split.
That's
on.
the background I use.
Yeah. Let me fix this really quickly so that it's not too distracting. Bro, too many tabs.
Bro, just open a new one, bro, like this. No? And then transfer it. Like this. Wait, hold on.
Perfect. Yep. Then go back to OBS and nope, not that.
Kaboom.
Boom. All right.
Upper on Monday, lower on Tuesday. Those are the more strength-focused workouts. Then we'll take a rest day, followed by 3 hypertrophy-focused workouts, a push day, chest, shoulders, and triceps, a pull day, back and biceps, and another leg day. Now, at this point, you may be wondering exactly what I'm doing differently this year. If I've been training already for 15 years, what am I doing differently for this experiment that I wasn't doing already?
Okay. I think he's gonna say something like training closer to failure. So like making sure that every single set is like properly dialed, no lazy sets, as he said in the beginning. He's probably gonna say that he's gonna measure like every single thing that he's eating right now, and then he's probably gonna say he's gonna optimize his sleep. What else is he gonna say? He's gonna say that he's gonna like emphasize like the stretch part of the lift because he's like a big stretch proponent. I don't know. That's my guess.
Yeah, I think so too.
Well, with training, there are 3 new things. First, I'm taking the last set of every single exercise to failure. No exceptions.
Okay, I'll take it.
Even on hip.
I'll take it. I said he was gonna work harder. Okay.
Compound lifts like presses and squats, I'm pushing that last set until I physically cannot get the weight up and literally drop it, obviously using safety bars. I don't know if failure makes a big difference for hypertrophy, but the latest science definitely shows a trend. The harder you push, the more growth you tend to see. Before, I'd always leave 1 or 2 reps in the tank on compound exercises, even on the last set, and I still think that's a good idea for most people. But I want to go ham this year, leaving no uncertainty of whether I could have done more. Second, I'm only doing optimal exercises. If it doesn't build maximum muscle, I'm not doing it. Third, I'm meticulously tracking all my weights for progressive overload, and my goal is to add a little weight or a rep each week. Now, since Brad's a beginner,
See, progressive overload is the most important thing. Okay, if it was like one of the things considered within the 3 factors that he's focusing on, I think that it just proves that like, well, it doesn't prove, but like it's just a good sign. Like progressive overload is the most important thing. Tracking your weight, knowing that you are improving over time is the most important thing.
I have to ease him into the workouts. So we're starting with 1 set per exercise in week 1, 2 sets in week 2, and then 3 sets from week 3 on. And yes, he has to run the exact same program as me for scientific control. It's definitely a bit too advanced for him, but I think he can do it for science. You see that shakiness? That's how we know you're a new lifter. that is your body saying, what are you doing right now? I have not done this. For that first week of training, my main priority is just getting Brad familiar with the technique on the different exercises in our program. All you're gonna do is just stick your butt back as you lower the bar straight down with straight legs. Good, and then up.
Oh, that's it?
That's it, that's the whole movement.
Oh, okay.
Don't bring the bar out in front, lower it straight down. It's not gonna hit your knees because you're moving your butt back. There you go, that's it. That's your RDL. And you can stop about just below knee height, so we'll stop about there.
Okay.
No, I go down.
In my experience, coaching people or like telling people how to do an RDL is the hardest thing ever because you need to like specify and explain like how to do the movement. But then for most people who have never really or like they don't usually go to the gym, they tend to be like I don't know, like body retarded. Like they just don't know how to control like specific parts of their body.
Like the usual cue that I say is just like don't think of it up and down. Just think about it
Like back and forth.
back and forth, and that works. I feel like when I teach people, they actually.
Yeah. It's a difficult exercise to teach. I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Yes, give me the abs. Nah, bro, I'm too natural for this sponsor. Okay.
We're not doing any failure training in week 1 or 2 just to get adjusted. The real failure work is gonna start in week 3.
All right, man. That's 1 week of training down.
I enjoyed it more than maybe I even thought it would.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Good job.
Thanks.
We did it.
Because now it's just repeating that
Yeah.
52 times.
All right. Nice.
Well, 51.
Oh, 51
Come on
times.
now.
That's right, that's right. By week 3, we were cruising. The initial soreness from starting a new program had settled down, and before we knew it, it was time for our first check-in. Moment of truth.
I'm a little nervous.
Are you?
No. What am I nervous about?
So, this was shocking. After just 1 month of training, Brad is already up 12.7 pounds of lean mass.
I said 15. Okay, like it's already 12.
In 1 month.
Body fat percentage dropped from 36.2% down to
Like everything optimized by basically the biggest like YouTuber out there going to like a crazy gym. Yeah, you'll probably be motivated. Yeah.
33.4%. And the ultrasound showed he gained 14 millimeters on his quads and 1 millimeter on his biceps. That's in 1 month.
Bruh. Nicely done, dude. Holy crap. I gotta come on.
Yeah, he's also like.
But my 1 month results
Yeah.
were even more surprising.
And he's
So wait, how much lean did I gain?
1,400 grams of lean mass, fat-free
Okay, so
mass.
1.4 kilos.
Of lean mass.
Believe it or not, I'm also up just over 3 pounds of lean mass. Unlike Brad, I did gain a little fat. My body fat went from 15.8% up to 16.7%. So with that check-in as a massive motivator, Brad and I got back to work. And in 5 months, we'll finish our bulking phase and do another check-in. People say that bulking is pointless because you just get fat. So how fat will we get? That's what we'll see in 5 months. At the 9-month mark, we'll do a third check-in. This will be the end of our recomp phase, where we'll try to build muscle and lose fat at the same time. Most people say that's impossible for advanced lifters, but I want to see for myself. Then after 12 months, we'll do our final update. This will be the end of our cut phase. I want to get back down to my starting body weight to see if I'll actually keep the muscle that I gained during my bulk, or if I just lose it all again and look exactly the same as before. You may
This is so big for the fitness industry. You know, this is so big. This is like basically a case study for us.
Yo, Nick. Yo, Nick is here.
Oh my God, Big Daddy Nick.
Yo, what's up, man?
Nicolas Cam.
I'll also be wondering what we're doing for our diet. Obviously, we're both eating the exact same calories and macros. 3,000 calories, 150 grams of protein, 410 grams of carbs.
Wait, what are you guys watching?
It's a new Jeff Never video where he basically did like a full experiment on himself to see if he can still gain a lot of muscle by optimizing everything, given the fact that he's been training for like 15 years. So yeah,
Bro, that's crazy. 3,000 calories for him, bro. If I eat 3,000, that's a 500 surplus. Well,
Yeah.
maybe like a 400, bro.
Yeah.
It's still bad, bro.
And 85 grams of fat per day. And this is what a typical day of bulking meals looks like for me, if you want to pause and screenshot. All this means that I'm eating about 15% above my
No,
maintenance
but I think
calories.
he's eating
And I'm eating
cleaner than us, though. And I was eating way above 3,000 for sure.
Yeah, also like the foods that you see there, they're probably filling as fuck.
Yeah, no, they look filling.
Yeah.
Okay.
me, if you want to pause and screenshot. All this means that I'm eating about 15% above my maintenance calories, and I'm aiming to gain around 2 pounds per month. Now, obviously, Brad shouldn't be bulking at 33% body fat. To get his best possible transformation, I should absolutely put him in a 5 to 20% caloric deficit and have him lose fat while building muscle. But I can't do that. If Brad's in a deficit while I'm in a surplus, that's an uncontrolled variable. And we need every variable to be the same except our training experience. So, unfortunately for Brad, he has to eat the same calories as me for science.
And I didn't realize I ate so much fat. Every night it's like, I've run out of fat, but I got like 30 carbs left. So I just gotta drink a glass of orange juice. I've just been staring at this orange juice now for like 10 minutes. I really just don't want to drink it. I kinda just hate orange juice now.
So, every single day, we're tracking every calorie we eat.
Weirdest thing that's happened, I was having this dream about like work. I went out to lunch. I realized that I didn't track the calories or anything for the lunch that I just had, and it was like fast food too. And there was like a bag of like Skittles or something that I was eating, and I was trying to like scan it with my phone while my coworker was like talking to me and stuff and getting angry. And then I dropped some, like it literally just like landed in like a pile of dirt. And I was like, oh, I don't have a scale, so like how am I gonna know how many grams of candy I just lost and all this stuff? So I guess I've started dreaming about counting calories now.
It sounds like a lot of work, especially for someone new to tracking macros, but because we've been using my nutrition app Macro Factor,
Oh my god. Do you see that plug? You see that plug? That's crazy.
easy. The app has a fast barcode scanner that quickly pulls up the macros, and it has multi-food plate logging to capture many foods at once. It only takes me about 5 to 10 minutes a day to get everything tracked. It's the app we're both using every day for the whole year. And if you'd like to try it out for yourself, I'll put a free 2-week trial in the description box below. Just use code Jeff when you download the app, and you'll get 2 weeks for free. Whether your goal is to build muscle, lose fat, or do both at the same time, the app will use advanced algorithms to scientifically guarantee that you reach your goal as long as you follow the plan. All you have to do is track what you eat and log your weight. That's it. Sleep is another big part of this experiment. Brad and I both wear an Oura ring every night, aiming for 8 to 9 hours of sleep, and we're trying to go to sleep and wake up around the same time as well to set our circadian rhythm. New research shows that it's not just about the total sleep you get, your sleep-wake schedule also matters. Supplements are a small part of this, but here's the list of supplements that we're both taking if you want.
Okay, let me see, okay? Creatine, good stuff. Protein powder, good. Caffeine, as a pre-workout, is okay. Fish oil, really good for your health. Ashwagandha is good for relaxation. Basic multivitamin, just to make sure all your micros are on point. Vitamin D, if you're in Canada, is probably needed just because it's so cold. And generally, you don't get enough sunlight over there. And magnesium is good for muscle recovery and also sleep.
Oh, okay.
Want to pause and read. No steroids, obviously. Yet. Just kidding, I think. Okay, so this is our full plan, and for the next 5 months, we're just going to follow it.
Drive it. Go again. Take a big breath. Come on, push it. You're so close. Oh, no.
I'm 2 months into the experiment, and I'm doing a 3-week writing retreat in Mexico with Steph.
Wow.
This is where I'm going to finish writing my first hard copy book. Travel always throws me off a bit for the first couple days, but once I found a really cool gym and a grocery store, I was able to lock in. And while there are more temptations and very delicious tacos and tequila down here, with a 3,000 calorie per day bulking budget, I was able to fit in a little Mexican delicacy without any issues. One of the beauties of bulking. After Mexico, one of the hardest things for me was balancing the training I needed to shoot for videos and balancing my own actual off-camera training. A few of the tier list videos took me 7 or 8 hours to film with all those exercises, and then I'd still have to actually train after. But for this year, regardless of what I'm filming, I'm still getting all my workouts in.
Yesterday I did a collab with Jesse James West. We filmed a few workouts for his channel. Normally I would count that as my workout, whereas yesterday, after we filmed for a couple hours, got a bite to eat, and then did my workout even though like I really didn't want to. It's those little things, like those workouts that you want to skip but don't skip. It's the sets where you don't want to push yourself, but you do it anyway.
What?
I think that those things can really...
Read. Can't read from this far.
Do you see Will Tenny won his first competition, Natty? Yeah. We were talking about that early in the stream where he started as a YouTuber who was just making like entertaining videos and like making challenges and whatever. And then obviously like we all knew that he was like extremely strong and big. But then he just decided to compete. And I guess he was good enough on that day to win. So yeah, it's really good. It's really good to see him win like that.
Not as big as Nick. Nick, have you been working out or no?
really add up and make a big difference. And that's something that I've definitely learned on this experiment so far.
Small.
Yeah, of course. Where are the posts? I thought like usually when you work out, you post, no?
Have you? No, bro, I'm a little pussy. No, I'm joking. Yeah, I have. I've been working out.
I did a light deload week in April. Not only is this a good idea regardless, but I was starting to get sick and my body was
Too many people to film.
Nah,
bro. It's okay, bro. There were a lot of people before when you filmed as well. Where are your videos? I mean, I'm loading shorts.
Yeah, we're gonna start uploading soon.
Camera shy. Oh, okay, I see.
Camera shy.
Your workout videos? Well, I mean, I post some stories here and there.
Stories but mostly shorts and
Yeah.
re-uploads of shorts. You know, or I know. I think he missed.
The other day I was with Kian. And then?
And then he smoked you. And then he started squatting while jumping.
He said, "Why you not posting your workout videos?" And that exact night you posted one.
Oh.
Was it the bench one?
I think it was the flies. No?
No, he said the bench one.
The bench. I think bench.
Yeah.
Bench.
Yeah, because he reacted to it.
What bench?
Remember, I did like 200.
Oh,
200 for 6. And then you were spotting me, right? And then you put the camera on your shoe. That's the one. Yeah.
I didn't know you posted that. I had no clue.
It's like you heard him. Yeah, you know. Next time he complains, he's gonna realize that, you know, just in time I'll be uploading a video as well.
I did a light deload week in April. Not only is this a good idea regardless, but I was starting to get sick and my body was definitely overworking. I'm actually not feeling too well today, and so this is going to be the first day that I skip a workout that I have scheduled. Yeah, if I went to the gym today, I just know it would be a subpar workout, whereas if I rest today and then go tomorrow, I'll probably perform much better, or hopefully anyway. So just want to do a quick little update on that. After the deload, Brad, my dad, and I did a boys trip to Arizona. I hadn't seen Brad for a while, so it was great to link up and get in some good workouts together.
Drive. Come on, Brad. Come on, you can do it.
It looks much better.
Bro, though that exercise is a bitch. It destroys the shit out of you, bro.
Yeah, no, for real.
Mine going for 3 plates bench.
Who?
Kian.
Oh, I thought him, bro. I'm about to shit myself.
No, bro. That's good. I mean, he's a power lifter, so he must be like super strong, right?
I think he can do it, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised if he does it.
Yeah. By the end of the year, I'm aiming for a 275. We'll see if I can get it.
Yeah.
That was great. That was good.
My dad immediately commented on how much bigger I'm looking, and that's definitely true when I'm wearing clothes. But I think I'm actually looking softer and kind of smaller in my posing updates. Brad is definitely up in weight too, but the main thing I noticed is that he's so much stronger. It's kind of insane. He's actually getting close to using some of the weights that I'm using on back exercises. That's definitely his strong point. Today we went for a hike in Sedona, and I was starting to worry that maybe we were both gaining a bit too much weight. I decided to have a heart-to-heart check-in with Brad.
The cardio is not quite there yet.
What would you say is something that you're most surprised by so far?
I'm noticing that my social anxiety is almost gone completely. And that was debilitating at times. Like you would go to a store and you just turn around in the parking lot and be like, yeah, not today. But now I don't even find myself like thinking about anything as I'm like going up to a counter or if I'm approaching like customer
Yo, Nick, can you let me know if the audio is okay when I watch the video?
services. I'll just go ask for something now. Before I was like, I'm figuring this out myself because I'm not getting any help.
This was a light bulb moment for me. This entire time,
Like for the video, there's no echo, right? Because I think the mic catches a little bit of the sound. A little bit of echo.
Okay, just put it over here. Yeah. Play it?
I've been so focused on the visual gains, I almost forgot about all the other life-changing benefits of lifting weights.
Okay, how about now? Better. Okay, cool. Thank you. Bench, soon 2 plates. Okay, that's good, that's good. How much are you at right now?
Boy, let's go. Nice shot.
Back from Arizona, and it's time to buckle down before our 6-month check-in. I've only got 2 months left before the end of my bulk, and at this point, I'm feeling more motivated than ever. I definitely have some size on. Brad's feeling motivated too. He's much more of a night owl than me, so he'll often train later at night, but he still hasn't skipped a single workout, even if it means going to the
that's
gym.
Anytime Fitness, I think. I can recognize the background.
Is there any in Canada?
No, maybe not.
Better actually. 165, trying for 10, maybe with a spot. Trying for 10, so you haven't gotten to 10 yet.
3 a.m. Going so like the light.
You know what's crazy? That I remember when I was doing 165 for 10.
When?
It was a long time. It was like well, not long time ago, but like 20 like 2022, I think.
Lights are off. Oh, there we go. Walking in and all the lights turning on.
And just like that, the end of the bulk, and it's time to see how much muscle we put on and how much fat we put on.
All right, dude.
All right. Let's guess, okay?
Okay, he looks a lot more muscular. I would say 18 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, I would say I'll be ambitious. I'll say like 20 pounds.
Okay.
Dude.
Wait, what about Jeff?
Jeff?
Yeah. Probably like
8. No, that's a lot.
no. I'll say 6. Yeah, it's lean mass.
Okay.
Lean mass different. Like there's
I'm
water
gonna keep
retention and stuff.
it like 8. Okay, I'll just say 8.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Okay. 9 max. Okay. It's not too bad. I think back in I think it was like 2022 when we used to like work out together. That was like my level. So you're catching up. You're almost there.
Ready for the 6-month physique check-in?
Yeah. Let's do it. Give me a flex.
Give me a
Okay.
shoulder flex. Like just kind of.
He looks good though.
So we both
Like way better from when he started, right?
Put on 15 pounds. How many of those pounds for you are lean out of the 15?
Say 3.
3 pounds were lean.
Definitely more than that.
Yeah. At the end of the 6-month bulk, Brad is up 13 pounds of lean mass.
13. Okay.
I said 18, bro.
How much did I say?
I said 18. You said 20.
Oh, okay.
And his body fat percentage is down 1.2%. He went from 36.2% at the beginning to 35.0% now, and that's while eating 3,000 calories per day. It really goes to show the power of building muscle. I was a little confused at first though, because when you look at his 1-month data, it looks like he gained 12.7 pounds of lean mass in that first month. It means he only gained another 0.3 pounds of lean mass in the next 5 months? Probably not. Remember that lean mass includes muscle and water.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of Brad's initial gains were actually water gains from taking creatine for the first time and from getting rammed into a high-volume training program. Regardless, his 6-month trend shows impressive body recomposition, being up 13 pounds of lean mass while being down 1.2% body fat. Okay, my turn.
That's eating 3,000 calories, by the way.
You get the results? Are they in?
There is.
After 6 months of fully optimized training and with more than 15 years of training already under my belt, I added 4.5 pounds of lean mass.
I said 5, right?
How much did I say?
8.
Yeah, that's a lot.
The thing was, I also gained, ready for this? 11 pounds of fat. That's a bit much.
Damn, that's crazy. But like that just shows that like when you are natural and when you have a lot of experience lifting, yeah, it's just like you cannot build more muscle. You can build fat, but like not as efficiently as like someone who's a beginner.
It means my body fat went from 15% at the beginning to just over 20% now. I'm kind of excited to cut down and see how much muscle I retained. But let's put this in context. If we pretend this chicken breast is my lean mass and this pile of lard is my fat mass, this is what I put on my body during the bulk. Again, not all my lean mass is pure muscle tissue, some of it is water. But yes, I did put on 4.5 pounds of lean mass. But I also put on this big pile of fat. So now, the real question is, what will happen if I lose all this extra fat? Will I keep this new muscle that I added, or will I lose that too?
All right. 6 months of that.
So, for the recomp phase, we're dropping our calories down to 2,800 calories per day, which MacroFactor says is our new maintenance intake. And these will be our new macros to follow for the next 3 months. And again, our goal for this phase is to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time while maintaining our weight. A few weeks into the recomp phase, the first thing I notice is that my strength is basically hitting a plateau. It's not a big deal, I'm still pushing just as hard, I'm just not seeing my numbers go up every week like I was during the bulk. But I do feel like my physique is tightening up a bit.
Definitely think when I cut down, I'm going to be a lot fuller, rounder, have better shape. Because I can notice the increase in muscularity now, even at a higher body fat. Once I trim the body fat out, I think it's actually going to be a pretty big visual difference, honestly.
Yeah, something that a lot of people notice is that whenever they cut down, technically they have less mass in their body, but they actually look bigger in camera. Just because you can see like the cap delts, the shape of the muscle coming out. So yeah, if you want to look like better in camera, just cut down a little bit.
I feel better about it than I expected to. 1 month into the recomp phase, Brad and I went to Japan for 3 weeks. So for this trip, also I got a haircut. For this trip, we're gonna do as much walking as possible because we're in recomp mode. So we're not gonna take the escalator. We're gonna actually walk. Oh! We had an absolute blast. But the trip was our biggest challenge yet, especially diet-wise.
I don't know.
I found it hard to get enough protein in, and we both got a little more flexible with our diet than would have been truly optimal. Tuna.
Oh, I want to go eat sushi for.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of craving it now.
Can I try it?
Yeah. Oh, that was so good.
Right? So good.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
We still got everything tracked, and I don't think we got too far off, but we were a bit more lenient than usual. And sushi was definitely the highlight. I've never had such delicious fish in my life. All right, it's our first workout in Japan. We're gonna switch over to a full body split. Full body, 3 days a week, and that'll just allow us to get in slightly more efficient workouts and not spend quite so much time in the gym so we can actually enjoy Japan. Tokyo was a gorgeous city, so clean and futuristic. We also got to see some incredible shrines and parks in Kyoto. Once we got back home, we switched back to the tried and true upper-lower push-pull legs hybrid split, still taking the last set of every exercise to failure.
There's a dog.
Oh yeah, let's see that fifth one. Smoke it, smoke it. Go down again, you got another one, I know you do.
Oh, that machine. He's strong.
Go down one more time and I'm with you, okay? I'm with you.
Insane. Yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. He's strong. He's strong.
Drive it, drive it, drive it, drive it, drive it. Yes, sir.
You should try like a good machine.
Come on.
With no.
Good job, good job.
I remember I saw a girl in the gym who tried like, oh yeah, like it was her and a group of friends, right? They're all girls. Oh yeah, this machine. Oh, this machine. Oh my god, it turns me into a bitch. She said something like that, something along the lines. And she goes, hops on it. She couldn't get up. I had to go and
Help her, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it hurts so much. Oh, I don't know where to go.
I was maintaining my weight at around 180 pounds, and I felt like my physique was looking a bit sharper. The month of September flew by, and it was time for our post-recomp check-in. Did I manage to gain muscle and lose fat at the same time, or did I just spin my wheels for the last 3 months? Let's find out.
Moment of truth.
Turns out, I actually lost 0.8 pounds of lean mass since our last check-in. That's within the DEXA's margin of error, but it's still a bit disappointing. It's also kind of what I expected. At my level of advancement, I think you really need at least a slight caloric surplus to keep muscle growth moving. Maintenance calories probably just won't cut it. I guess it's also possible that switching to the full body split and our time in Japan threw me off a bit, but I was still training super hard and I was still eating a high protein diet. So I really just think that maintenance calories wasn't enough to drive new growth for me, at least not within 3 months. On the upside, I did lose half a pound of fat, so my body fat percentage dropped ever so slightly. Brad's results were a bit better. He lost 3.5 pounds of fat, and this got his body fat percentage down to 33.8%. And that's despite not actually doing a fat loss phase yet. He did lose 0.7 pounds of lean mass since the last check-in, but that's also within the margin of error, and I suspect that if there was any loss, it's probably not actual muscle tissue, especially since he didn't lose any strength. You see, at every check-in, we've also been testing our muscle strength using this Biodex isokinetic dynamometer. Basically, you just press against this foot pad as hard as you can, and the computer measures how hard you pushed. Since the beginning of the experiment, Brad's strength has trended up. My strength also trended up, but not by as much as Brad's. And at my last check-in, it was down a bit. So this time, I was determined to have my best strength test yet. I buckled myself into the machine, and on command, I pressed as hard as I possibly could. I got a massive isokinetic dynamometer PR of 359.2 Newton meters. We always take 3 measurements though, so I buckled back in for round 2.
2, 1.
Oh, no, hold on. I felt something really weird in my knee. And I injured my knee. Partially torn tendon, so that sucks. I'm leaving this recomp phase not only having gained...
Partially torn tendon?
Oh, that's
Fuck, bro. Oh no, that's gonna mess like with the experiment. That sucks.
Oh, that was so sad.
0 muscle in the last 3 months, but with a freshly injured knee. So I just finished up the first workout, basically the first rehab workout after I injured my knee. I'm basically using lighter weights with a really slow tempo for now. So I've been using a 3-second negative, pause in the stretch, 3-second positive. That will keep some tension on the quads, but it just pales in comparison to the intensity and the load that I normally use. Not an ideal way to kick off the cut, but this is just a normal part of training. I think you could make the case that the more you try to optimize, the higher your risk of having a setback is as well. Even though in this case, I don't think it had anything to do with my training. I think it was just being fasted, not having anything to eat, and then having to go and do an all-out isometric strength test is probably not like the safest thing in the world. And we also, because of like time constraints and everything, didn't do any warm up before that test. So like, regardless, it is what it is. It happens. Could have been worse. My physiotherapist said it'd probably be at least a month or two of rehab. So I did my best to keep things optimistic and really just focus on getting all the excess fat off and finishing off this experiment as strong as I can, given the circumstances.
It's officially time to start the cut.
I am tired of having extra weight on, and I'm excited to get into something cleaner eating and just like not having to gorge myself every day.
Yeah, for a cut, we're dropping down to 2,200 calories per day and bumping our protein up to 190 grams. It's actually really exciting to have a new goal, and I'm pumped to see Brad finally start his weight loss journey. About a month into the cut, my motivation really started to ramp up. I had to train my quads with really light weights for a while, but my strength was starting to come back. I was also finally getting to see the gains that I'd made during the bulk, and the fat was melting off. Since it worked so well during the bulk, we decided to keep going with the upper-lower push-pull leg split, swapping out a few exercises, but keeping the overall structure the same. For my own recovery, I started stopping about 1 rep shy of failure on compound lifts. That's just because I really didn't want an upper body injury to deal with too, and with less calories, you do need to be a little more careful. I'm still pushing the last sets of all the isolation exercises to failure though. And with some good visual changes happening, we were both determined to hold on to as much of that muscle we built as humanly possible. At the 1 year mark, Brad and I aren't quite back to our starting body weight yet, and I really need us to both get back to the weight we started the experiment at with a true test of net muscle gain. I don't want to rush things and crash diet either, since I know that can accelerate muscle loss.
I think I'm going to extend it until March, under the assumption that we're both giving it 100%. If you're in, I'm in.
Yeah, man, 100%.
So we locked back in for another 2 months, and then it was time for the final check-in.
I'm so excited for this to be done. It's been so long.
It blew my mind that we both nailed the weigh-ins exactly to the decimal. I started this experiment at 164.6 pounds, and I'm ending it just over 1 year later at exactly 164.6 pounds.
Both of them?
Yo, that's crazy. So controlled, like so precise.
Question is, am I carrying more muscle now? Let's start with Brad's final results.
All right, Brad, any final words?
Nope.
After the cut, he has...
Wow, that's good. So he's up 4 kilos of lean mass.
So that's like 8.8 pounds of lean mass. And how much fat did he lose?
That means from the start of the experiment to now, he's up 10 pounds of lean mass.
Okay, 10 pounds? 4 kilos. Oh, maybe he was like approximately.
Down, get this, 10 pounds of fat mass. That's incredible. In his final strength test...
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Was also his best ever. Perhaps even cooler though, his Oura Ring is now saying that his heart health has improved by about 4 years. Amazing stuff. Okay, and as for me...
I just want fries. Chicken burger, fries, and just some really good tequila rum.
Okay, so from the beginning of the experiment to the end of the experiment, at the exact same body weight, I gained...
Let's go.
What's the guess?
Okay. 3.2 pounds.
Yeah, I'll say 3 pounds. Yeah, I think 3 pounds. Because
bro, Nick said nothing, bro.
Say the same?
No.
Let's see.
Come on, I'm optimistic.
No,
bro.
the thing is like that injury though.
I know, but I want to be optimistic because if this, like, this is a case study basically. If this works, then you know.
Okay, that's it.
2.7 pounds
Oh, that's
3 pounds.
That's
3 pounds. All right.
pretty good.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Okay.
That's good.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Some of you, but think about it. This is what the lean mass I added would look like if it were ribeye steaks. So that's basically like putting on almost 4 huge steaks.
Looks the same in the pic.
No. Let me see. Nah, that's not the same, bro. He looks leaner
and taller.
and taller and stronger and everything, bro. Yeah.
2.7 pounds of lean mass. That may not sound like much to some of you, but think about it. This is what the lean mass I added would look like if it were ribeye steaks. So that's basically like putting on almost 4 huge steaks worth of tissue in 1 year. And at just under 5'5", adding that much tissue across my body is going to make a visual difference. I definitely see the biggest difference in my chest and my back, but I see some gains in my shoulders and hamstrings too.
Yeah.
Now, if you remember...
I mean, look at his rear delt. Look at his back. That's insane. And side delts too, bro. Those are capped.
Yeah. Back huge. Yeah.
No. That shit.
The reason I cut down is because I really wanted to see how much muscle I'd retain.
Traps and shoulders. Rear delt. I don't know why his rear delts grew so much.
Quads.
Quads. Yeah. True.
Pain from my bulk. So at the end of my bulk, I was up 4.5 pounds of lean mass, and now I'm still up 2.7 pounds of lean mass. So yes, I did retain most of those gains while cutting down. I kept more than half the lean mass.
Wait, if he didn't get that injury, how much do you think he would have gained?
I think it would be 3 flat. Or 3.1.
Yeah, okay, 3 point something maybe.
That I put on, which I think is pretty solid. I'm also leaner now. I started the experiment at 15.8% body fat, and now I'm down to 14.5% body fat. So not only did I shred all the 11 pounds of fat that I put on during the bulk,
oh, so technically he recomped.
Yeah, you did.
I also lost another 2 pounds of fat beyond that. The ultrasound results also showed
that's a better visual difference.
Yeah.
fat that I put on during the bulk. I also lost another 2 pounds of fat beyond that. The ultrasound results also showed that I gained net muscle in my biceps even after the cut. My quads also grew significantly during the bulk, but basically came back down to baseline after the cut. I'm gonna blame that on my knee injury, especially my left quad, which did lose more muscle, and that's the knee that I injured. I did hold on to some net muscle gain on my right quad though, even after the cut. Also, for the sake of scientific transparency, we also took BIA, or bioelectrical impedance measurements, throughout the study. This is the type of device you'll often see in commercial gyms. It says that I lost 1 pound of lean mass. This probably would have gutted me if I didn't have access to higher quality, more expensive, and more sensitive equipment. BIA has about twice the error margin of a DEXA machine, and I honestly just think my gains were well within the error bars for that device. Plus, the DEXA results, the ultrasound results, the strength results, and the before and after photos all quite clearly show that I made gains. So, I say this just to say that you shouldn't feel bad if you get a BIA test done and the results aren't what you expected. They're often not sensitive enough to detect real changes in muscle mass in experienced lifters. So, the question we all want to know, am I going to use steroids?
See?
No. Because what gives him leverage in this fitness world is being natural, and also the whole point of this study is for the natural community.
Yeah. Like he probably wants
this experiment is to give some light
to like experience like natural lifters that may if you dial things in, like you can gain muscle and lose fat.
Yeah. And he has 15 years of training, so no excuses. Right?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. And this is his...
I think I proved to myself that I can still make gains, even 15 years deep, if I really commit. I don't have any regrets about the training program, but if I had my time back, I think I would have bulked a little less aggressively. I think that if I had gained, say, half the weight during my bulk, I may have gained a similar amount of lean mass, but with less fat. As for the so-called natural ceiling, I still do think it theoretically exists, at least on paper. If you could just keep building muscle indefinitely, anyone still lifting in their 70s or 80s would be the biggest bodybuilders alive. But I think I did show that you can kind of push your natural ceiling up with optimized training and diet. At the very least, I think I showed that's possible. So my next goal now is to get shredded, properly shredded, under 8% body fat. And Brad said he's going to keep going with the cut too. Actually, while I was editing this video, he lost another 5 or 6 pounds, and this was his latest physique update that he just sent me. I want to get in my best shape ever this year. If you're looking to do the same, I'd recommend running my new upper-lower push-pull legs program for yourself. It's the same program we ran for this experiment, except it's written to be more individualized to you. So there's a beginner version and an intermediate to advanced version, and I give you 2 substitution options for every exercise and full instructions on how to swap exercises in and out. I'm calling it the bodybuilding transformation system because it really is more than just a program. There's video demos for every exercise, volume analytics, technique cues, and a full handbook explaining all the science behind the program. If you run this for the next 6 months, I guarantee you'll build muscle. If you don't, I'll give you a full refund, no questions asked. I truly believe this is the most effective program I've ever written, and I had a blast running it. You can pick up either the beginner version or the intermediate to advanced version on jeffnipper.com, and it's 25% off for launch week. If you're watching this video after launch week, I'll still go ahead and leave a discount code in the description box below, so you can still save some money. Now, obviously, it's not enough to just dial your training in. Your diet is also super important. So you can download my nutrition app Macro Factor for 2.
There's another ad.
Back to back.
Yeah.
Back shots.
It's good though. Okay, it's good.
They're good tools.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if I made a lot of money, then I'll have everything. But
yeah,
2 weeks for free.
Honestly, yeah. If I had more money, I'll probably just get a macro factor app.
Which is like having me as your own personal nutrition coach, but for a tiny fraction of the cost. Oh, and when it was all said and done, I did end up getting what I really wanted.
I'll do six McNuggets with large fries, and then I'll also add a McCrispy. Bro.
I don't want to eat now.
Exactly what I want.
yeah. I just want to eat a sandwich. Oh. Oh wait, that was yesterday.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man? Yo, what's up? Not much, man. Just barbecuing, relaxing.
Oh, bro,
So
he looks so different.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Time to get McDonald's.
Oh my god, bro.
We're done.
Yo, get me some, okay? I'll give you my address. Order Uber Eats.
Yeah.
Takes too long though. Just last trend. Come back. All right, I'll let you know if I do. When I do.
Yeah.
Done.
You should come visit us, bro.
True.
Yeah. This is a democracy, bro.
Yeah, we're like two people. Two people.
2 votes.
Two people going there. Might as well you come here.
Yeah, it's cheaper.
Just the first part.
I
Yeah, we got a
need
whole
to get visa.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Oh my god.
other experiment to do.
Oh.
Hey, I'll see you at the gym, bro.
Yeah, okay.
What happened? Wait. What is this teaser, bro? They're teasing something.
Bro, that was just the first part.
Relaxing. Hey, what's up, man?
Yo, what's up?
Not much, man. Just barbecuing, relaxing. I'm so glad that we're done.
Done.
Bro, that was just the first part. Yeah, we've got a whole other experiment to do.
Oh.
Hey, I'll see you at the gym, bro.
Yeah, okay.
Oh.
Is it like the getting shredded thing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's so good. Oh. Everyone is doing comebacks. Like Will Tennyson was like not dying down, but he was at a steady pace, and then boom, exponential with this shredded thing.
Yeah.
And now Jeff Nippert is also doing the same thing. That's crazy. Yeah. Alex Eubank still sleeping.
You guys are rich. Ask Jeff to take me for his project.
Jeff.
You ask him, okay? You're closer. You're in Canada. He's in Canada too. You need Togi.
Yeah, you need Togi. Oh my god, bro, Togi, bro. No, bro.
Nah, bro.
Like I find him funny, but like, nah.
Yeah.
Nah, Togi is. It's like a movie, bro. It's fun to watch. Don't replicate. Yeah.
That video was longer than I thought. It's already 10.
Just go make a sandwich.
All right. Okay. I think I'm ending the stream here. Thank you guys for staying until now. Every day watching Togi, the closer I get to that needle.
Bruh.
Yo, Togi's kind of crazy, bro.
Bro, he gambles everything. Like every single time.
Takes every drug too, right?
Every single time he loses, he increases the bet to try to make it back. And then he's like, no, at some point I get it back. It's so
crazy.
Bro.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
All right, I'm ending the stream here. Thank you guys for staying until the end. If you enjoy the content, please subscribe. If you're not subscribed, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next stream. Okay.